two things that'll be helpful to follow along for this webinar. First, we'll be using GoDaddy as a domain provider for our examples on how to set everything up today. If you already own a domain, feel free to open up that domain provider. We will be using what's referred to as DNS records. If that's not something you're familiar with and you're not using GoDaddy, feel free to follow up with one of us after the webinar, either Julia or I, and we'll be able to talk you through it. The other thing that'll be helpful is if you don't already have an EasyDigz account, everyone attending the EasyDigz webinar today will have the opportunity for a free trial. So feel free to go into the Doorify dashboard, click on the EasyDigz icon, and get a second to just run through setting up your initial account. That way you can follow along and see what it's like to get it set up in live time. Please raise your hand if you have not, gotten into EasyDigz yet or do not have a domain that you want to follow along with for this webinar. We want to be as inclusive as possible, make sure everyone has a chance to get through it. If you guys do have any questions after the fact, feel free to just let us know. And cool, we still have a few more people hopping in. I will try and be courteous of their time real quick and get started here in just like 30 or so seconds. Excellent. Yeah, so we will be using GoDaddy as the, your domain provider is what we'll be doing our demonstration on today. And again, feel free to click on the EasyDigz icon in the Doorify dashboard. That way you can get started, see exactly what it looks like in your tool to get it set up. And by the end of today, you will have a completely custom site branded in your name. That's the point of this webinar. So we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you for taking your time out of your morning to be here. I am Michael Walliser. I've been a licensed broker here in the Triangle area since 2006. Currently hold a CCIM designation on the commercial side. I've spent a lot of my career in the residential trenches. I've done brokerage, property management, institutional acquisitions and dispositions. We've done a lot of our own investing as well. I've sat on just about every side of a real estate transaction you can think of. We built EasyDigz because we got tired of the same problem every practitioner in this room has lived, and that's that you spend half your day switching between 5 or 6 different tools that don't talk to each other. At the end of the day, you're not sure actually where your data sits or how to access it. We're going to talk about something I believe is the most important business decision you'll make this year, and that is not which CRM to pick or which lead gen tool to subscribe to, but where that data sits, who owns the technology, and what kind of client relationships really make up your business. We're calling this session the value of ownership because it's exactly what it comes down to. Are you building equity in your practice, or are you paying rent to someone else's brand? So we'll go ahead and get into it. I need to start with what's happened already this year. The context kind of changes everything about how you should think about your technology stack. Real estate has always moved in cycles, but what we're witnessing right now feels different. The consolidation that's happening across our industry isn't just a market correction or a response to interest rates. It's a structural realignment of who controls the relationship between a buyer or seller and the professional they hire to guide them through their home journey. That shift has been building for over a decade. It was first accelerated by the rise of national portals in the early 2010s. And then by venture capital that kind of flooded through the prop tech market in the 2020s. We're currently seeing it as a wave of mergers and alliances that are concentrating a large amount of market power in just very few brands. And as this is an inflection point, the decisions that the brokers and agents make today about their technology and their brand and their business model in the next 12 months matters more now than most people realize. At a high level, there's 2 distinct camps kind of emerging. On one side, there's movement towards broker-centric platforms and alliances with technology built with the broker at the center of the model. The debate is whether that structure truly serves the end consumer or whether it prioritizes certain businesses' priorities over the end consumer that it's ultimately meant to represent. On the other side, we have, national portals that have powerful alliances under the banner of open data, and critics argue that openness has quietly become a mechanism for monetizing the client relationship the brokers and agents work hard to cultivate with their clients. Neither side is without merit, and neither side is without conflict of interest. What tends to get lost in that conversation is what it actually means for the broker or the agents building their practice in a market like ours. The leverage that the largest players bring to these alliances isn't leverage that most of us have access to. What you do have is something they're actively trying to acquire, which is a trusted local relationship with a client who chose you specifically. That asset is only as durable as the infrastructure you've built around it. If your CRM, your listing present, and your client communications all run through separate, disparate tools that you don't control or own, you really don't own that relationship. Every single tool that you send to your client is you asking them to trust you to trust that other thing. And you're kind of borrowing it. And borrowed things have a way of, failing at the worst possible moment. Wherever you sit on the debate, the brokers and agents who will be the most insulated are the ones who own their brand and are able to bring their client database continually to them as a source of truth, and they own their workflow. Because everything that we're going to cover, from how you structure your tech stack to how you stay in front of your clients between transactions, connects back to that. How do we put you as the trusted source in front of your clients? And this is a quick question. We can have a raise of hands or drop it in the chat. We'll be happy to look at it there. How many separate logins people currently use to run their business? A lot of people, have a CRM, and then a website, and then email marketing, transaction management. I'm just trying to follow this chat real quick and make sure we're not losing anything. Yeah, excellent. So we have, yeah, it's excellent. So we're seeing, 3 to 5. A lot of times we see significantly more than that. The NAR's 2025 technology survey found that 24% of agents spend over $500 a month on technology. That's 1 out of every 4 of you. The average broker uses 13 separate technologies, is what they're saying. The Wave Group found that 45% use 7 or more tools, each requiring separate logins, separate data entry, and separate training. One brokerage that they documented was paying for 4 separate document tools at the same time and spending tens of thousands of dollars a year in redundant tool spend. The part that drives me crazy is that 67% of agents say their brokerages already gives them the technology they need, but you still go out and buy their own replacements. And the reason is that the tools don't connect, and that even the provided technology stacks leave you kind of bouncing from one login to the next. There was an agent that we onboarded recently that had used, Follow Up Boss, several other national portal platforms, and their words were like, none of them consolidated everything that they needed, and they had to log into too many separate places and make sure that things were updated. And at that point in time, your technology starts to become, the thing that runs you instead of assisting you. And it's not a convenience problem. It's really a fragmentation tax on your business. When your data is scattered across 7 platforms, those of you who are trying to adopt AI to assist you, it can't really work on your behalf because it doesn't have a full scope of what that client journey looks like. Your follow-up sequences are disconnected from your transactions, and your marketing doesn't know what your CRM knows. You're paying more, playing with more, and getting less. When you build your practice inside platforms and tools, a bunch of disparate platforms and tools, all of your contact database and your transaction history, your marketing sequence and your pipeline, all of it is living under someone else's brand. And that's building value for their business, not yours. We've watched this play out at scale. Hundreds of thousands of agents across national franchise brands found themselves inside a corporate ecosystem overnight, not by choice, but by acquisition. Their data, all of their client relationships, the referral networks, all now serve as a strategy that they didn't have a personal voice in. And that's not hypothetical. It's what consolidation looks like when your infrastructure belongs to someone else. I had an agent on a call with Julia, our sales lead, who asked point blank, is this portal harvesting my contact database? And that's not paranoia. It's a legitimate business question. Our reply is always that our agent owns the domain, and that's what this whole call is about, how you guys are going to own the brand, and you can continue to direct your clients back to that brand. You can continue to build a web identity and web presence on your own brand, not in a portal in someone else's, website. It's your domain. And I realize that some of the setup has caused, a little bit more friction for getting it set up, but in the end, we believe it's worth it. And building your brand around your name and your business is the best thing for you. If you look at the columns on the screen on the left, we have portal lock technology where your CRM and contacts belong to the platform. Your website is a subdomain that disappears if you leave. Your transaction history stays behind. Your marketing sequences don't export. And your data could be being harvested or monetized without you reading all the way through your terms and conditions. On the right, you have a platform portable technology. Your domain is registered in your name. Your pipeline and your contacts are always yours. Transaction history travels with you. All of your email sequences export. We don't harvest your client data. We don't monetize it. We are just a platform you operate on. If you want to switch platforms, you download it, keep everything, and move along your way. And the thing that we keep coming back to is we always tell our clients, why rent when you can own? Why are you renting a technology platform or a brand when you could just be building your own business profile and building your own business equity? And we should follow the same principles. And part of the reason this makes a lot of sense in our market specifically is because the triangle data for professional infrastructure is we're a net migration place, a net in migration. We've seen a little bit of restructuring in our current availability in market. Our median home price was down to $465 in February, which is 1.6% from a year ago. It's the lowest it's been in 23 months. Inventory is up 26% year over year, which is the most robust selection since 2020. Median days on market is up to 48 days now. That's up 71% last year, with some submarkets reaching as high as 82 days. And we're just now hitting 4 months of supply, which is very much a balanced territory. And it's not a crash narrative. And, Raleigh is the top 10 hot housing spots per the NAR. In 2026, there's still, Apple's still, walking around its idea of a campus. Barclays is relocated. Their America's operations here. And Wake County is still growing at, almost 2.5% annually. Mortgage rates earlier did dip down below 6%. And Fannie Mae forecasts that we could be seeing that again by the end of the year, which would qualify 27,000 additional Raleigh area households. Doorify MLS reported $19 billion in 2025 sales volume. So we're still in a very strong market, and now is the time to get in front of it. The opportunity is enormous, but the easy pandemic era transactions are gone. It's more of a professional market. Homes are sitting longer. Sellers need pricing guidance, and buyers need nurturing over weeks and months, not days. The agents who have automated systems with compliance tracking and CRM data that feeds their intelligence, those types of agents who own their infrastructure are the ones who will capture this opportunity. The ones who don't will lose market share, and the mega brokerage ecosystems building walled gardens around them. And let's look at what ownership actually looks like in practice. If we walk you through 3 core capabilities, and then we're going to see them live. First is really your branded website. It's not a profile page buried in another portal. It's not a subdomain that vanishes when you switch. It's your own domain, registered in your name to whatever your domain provider, such as GoDaddy, which we'll be using today, or whatever registrar you prefer. You can buy it for however much that domain costs you for the year. We see a lot of times it's sub $20. And once you align that with your EasyDigz Power site, it'll be fully branded in your name, your specialty, your photo, your branding. If you ever want to move the domain somewhere else, it's yours. We don't own it. We're just the infrastructure, not a landlord. Only 12% of agents report their personal site as a lead generation tool. And the reason is because most agents don't have a website. They have a profile page. It's vanity and it's a picture of them. When it actually comes to the IDX search and the infrastructure and the natural language searches that we provide for clients, it's a huge lift to get that up. And there's a massive difference. Your profile disappears the day you change platforms. Your domain, that's an asset that builds SEO quality over time and goes wherever you go. Your clients are accustomed to searching with enhanced tools on a lot of these national level platforms and large brokerage portals. You should be able to provide those same types of features and tools to them. And that's the thing that's going to keep them engaged. The second is we have MLS integrated transaction management. If you're using most of the documents in e-signature providers, you know the drill. You open the MLS, copy the property address, switch to your forms, type it in, copy the price, go back, paste that, client names, dates, terms, it's all manual. With EasyDigz, you select the property, the fields are auto-populated from MLS, tax, and CRM data, automatically pulls all your client information over. The third is market intelligence built directly into the platform. It's not a disconnected chatbot, not a tool where you're feeding client data into who knows where. It's a natural language search across 1.8 million Doorify parameters. You type, if I want to see a 3-bedroom house in North Hills under 500,000 that's been on the market for more than 30 days, if it's there, it'll find it and it'll answer with governed data directly from the MLS. There's no leaks to external services, and it's all compliant data. Let's stop talking about what's possible and kind of show you. I'm going to walk you through a live demonstration starting from scratch so you can see what this looks like for a new agent setting up their practice. I'm going to close out of this screen here and open up this one. I have Julia's site. For those of you who have GoDaddy, I'm going to ask at any point in time, please raise your hand. I'm going to show you what it looks like to actually go through and map this domain to our record. We have, when you're in your white label site, you'll be able to log in to your white label. You'll be able to click on details in the back. And when you go to edit, you'll be able to edit both the domain and the email. And that'll be within your tenant settings. If any of you have any questions about that, please, again, raise your hand, stop me. We're trying to make sure everyone can follow along at any time. I'll just quickly go here. These DNS records, once you enter in your domain information on your EasyDigz site, you receive an output, which will include CNAMEs and TXTs, etc. To make this easy, we're just going to click here to add a new record. And so I am within your EasyDigz white label. You guys will have a little copy link directly next to each one of these parameters. And please use that copy link, because what can happen is whenever you copy and paste like this, you can end up getting an accidental space or something along those lines, which will cause an error. And this is an interesting one, only because we've done this hundreds of times. This is actually going to come in conflict, and I'm doing this one on purpose for a reason. So when I click here to save, you'll notice that this CNAME here actually comes in conflict, right? It conflicts with another record, and that's this www record. So what is actually necessary for this very first one, for those of you that are using GoDaddy, and this isn't in every provider, is we'll actually just edit this record here. And so that one's done. From here, we can just click through and we're going to add a host of new records all at one time. So we're going to add this TXT record. And for those of you that are wondering if I'm giving away a free website here with all the domain records, we will be changing and deleting all of this. But you guys can see here, it's super straightforward to map your domain. And we're just going to click save. TXT custom host name. And that was a prime example of that space that I accidentally copied. Cool. So those are updated. This domain should now be up. Julia, if you're available, do you mind going ahead and sharing your screen? So that way we can see your site and see what that looks like in practice. So you can see here, she's currently in her tenant settings. She's currently under her email domain. So Julia, if you don't mind copying back through to the custom domain. And you guys will be able to see here that this is exactly what we copied These are the records that we pasted into the GoDaddy account. And she can just scroll down and she should be done. All of those configurations should be complete. And there we go. The next thing that we're going to do is for all of your custom campaigns, your email campaigns and your outreach, that will be under email. And so again, you have another set of records to configure. This handles all of your custom email for your drip campaigns, email outreach, property sharing, etc. One of the big things that we have in here is it also, when you first start on this modile, I'm sorry, we got a question coming in. Yeah, so this is actually when you set up your EasyDigz white label domain, what happens is you're going to go into this, you'll get an admin link. And when you get into your admin, you'll be able to see these tenant settings on the corner. And then you'll be able to set this up from there. And when you're in the settings, you can adjust between themes or the website domain or email domain. And then you'll be able to see this. So
would you like me to go back, Michael, and kind of show that, illustrate that a little bit?
Well, if you do it, it'll mess up your records here, Julia,
Okay.
because we've already selected past it. So these records are structured for her selection. So what Julia did is said, I have my own email. I already have my own email. Please redirect all the reply email for my outgoing media outreach and campaigns. And what will happen is someone replies to that email address, it'll automatically port it through to Julia's private email. And so how you select that will affect some of your selections from there. While we're in, I'm basically just going to be copying and pasting these records back into GoDaddy, and I can share my screen and walk you guys through that as well, just so you can get a better idea. If Julia, you don't mind me sharing again.
Go ahead.
All right. Cool. All right, so we're back up, and again, we're just going to add some more records. You'll see here that the email is its own, email will have its own set of records. And again, just be super careful. You're better off copying straight from that. However, for this demonstration purpose, we're just doing some pre-selected records here. So then we're going to do an MX. And Julia, you'll notice that Julia has her prefix in there. And Julia, this one's a priority 10, I believe. Is that right? That first MX record?
Yep.
All right. And that's the other thing you guys will notice a priority on some of these. Several of them are, all of them are 0 except for that one. And then we're going to do this TXT. And then we've got a set of 3 C names. And for those of you who think that this is too advanced, you'll notice all I'm doing is copying and pasting. Yeah, it's all clearly written out. We additionally have guides and how-tos. And then this is the last one. Oh, no, we've got one more MX control. Oh. And this last one is an MX record. And I realize I'm going through this quicker then some of you might be able to follow along. So once we're done, we're actually going to walk through a couple of features that you'll be able to immediately access on your site. And then if you guys have any questions from there, we can allow that to happen. Cool, panelist. All right, host tools, transcript, more. Cool. So let's see make sure I copied all of those correctly. Did I copy that? TXT at PHG. So we're going to get rid of that and then reassess. Save. Updating. So now, one quick way, if you do get one of those errors, you can simply click here, see what TXT records you have. Oh, it looks like I double pasted that in there. So I already have it in. And that's why it called me out for the error, because it was there. So that record is in and exists. Cool. And we should be good. Julia, I'm going to stop sharing, and then we can go back to yours and kind of show you what that looks like once she's set up. So here, you're going to click go to step 4, and it's currently validating all of this. You can see that the top 2 are already verified. Just click check status. We've done that just to make sure. Typically, this email forwarding record takes a little bit, and that's that last MX record, which is going to be that EasyDigz inbound. And it's just going to take a few minutes for that to go through. And Julia, while we're here, do we want to kind of show them some of what their site would look like once it's personalized and customized in their name? And then we can also show them some of the voice search and the CRM and the email, the email campaigns.
Yeah, sure. This is because this site is brand new, there's not a lot of data in it, but we can definitely go through it. So this is going to be your tenant settings, where once you fill out that questionnaire, a lot of these things will be auto-populated based on the information you provide. But if you ever want to come in and edit, this is where you would do it. This is the homepage. These carousels are all editable and customizable. Your IDX integration. And again, another opportunity for you to talk about yourself. And all of these are on this side here for you to change. You can add photos, you can add logos. Another important one is the about page. This is where you can add, blurb about who you are. I like to use this section for reviews, or you can put customer reviews and all of your certifications, your NAR, your equal housing, et cetera, et cetera. So you can close these settings. You would publish first, of course. This is my little logos in here. I like my other logo a little bit better, but I'm running a few sites now. Do you want to go into
you want to show them some of the drip campaigns, because that's directly aligned with the email setup.
Let's do that.
All right.
So here we have drip campaigns. We also have templates that respond to various things that your clients can be doing on the website. Their templates their actions will trigger a response, an email response. But for now, let's just go through the drip campaigns. We can start a new campaign. I think some people are a little bit hesitant to do campaigns, but I think what the real value of this is that you can customize all this stuff. So this is a good example, open house. We can use this sequence. This is where you can decide if it's relative to enrollment, like when they are enrolled in the sequence, or date event. If it's an open house, we're obviously going to anchor this to a date and a time, which is where you would change this right here. And here is your messaging. This can all be customized. It's personalized with particular tokens that you can change. And here is where you're going to say before the event, let's say we send out our first email 3 days before. And then the next one, we're going to do this tomorrow is the event. So we're going to do 1 day before. And then today is your open house at event start. And again, everything is customizable here. We can set the campaign. In this one, I don't believe I don't have, because we just set up this site today, I would have to download my CSV file with my contacts, but this is where I would add my contacts. I can add myself and save. Right, yes, of course. All right. Oh, Lord.
The checks keep you honest, you know?
Yeah, you got to do it. You got to do it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to move too quickly here. And so anyway, then here's where you can come and check on this campaign. Your analytics is going to be how many emails have gone out, if they're being opened, if they get bounced back. These are important. This is important information to know if you're doing any kind of email campaign. This is where the steps that you're at. And then you can add people here. You can remove, and back to your sequence.
Yeah.
All of this can be edited at any time. Oh, here's where we would start the sequence. Alrighty.
Cool. And you did touch on real quick, and then we'll move on. You touched on uploading your contacts.
Yes.
For anybody who's new setting that up, let's just touch on that real quick. We do have this bulk upload contacts right here. It's straightforward. You can drag your CSV. We have some pre-selected filters on whether you're getting it from Google or Apple or Outlook. Additionally, we have a custom CSV, which allows you to map which fields are available for which contacts. Those of you who get a brand new site, you know, feel free to upload your contacts. That's who you can send all of your, who you can send all of your drip campaigns, etc., properties, everything else about. And then for those of you who do have prior work history in Doorify, we will also pull in your existing work history within your opportunities. Just so that way you can get a good scope on what your existing business looks like within the dashboard. And when you go do that and go over to dashboard, Julia doesn't have any prior work history on this account. When you do that, you'll be able to easily see, if you scroll down in opportunities, you'll be able to see like each one of these would have charts about like where each, what stage anything is in, and you would again need to update some of that, but all of that automatically imports for those of you who are a little bit concerned about your workflow. Again, Julia's site is brand new, which is why this isn't loaded yet, but cool. Do we have any other questions on some of this, and then we can move on? Has everyone had a chance to can I just get someone to react, just so I know, we have a good litmus test of, is everyone caught up on where we're at? All right, cool. Yeah, we've got some good stuff there. All right, cool. Julia, I'll go ahead and take back over and finish out some of this. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Cool. So here we go. This is you guys kind of just saw it live, and it took us 15 minutes to get through. Keep in mind that Julia owns that domain. It's brand, her brand. Everywhere her clients go, it's gonna bring them straight back to her. Refer to her as the source of truth. We've got some excellent analytics and insights and other tools. Feel free to play around on this. and we can show you through some of the, the natural language searches that we've built up for your clients, the natural language analytics tools that we have. I'll actually do a demo of that at the end of this webinar if you guys want to hang on and see what market insights look like in natural language. And we'll kind of talk about, what this means for your business moving forward. If you end up doing 20 transactions a year and you're spending an hour, which is, pretty reasonable, on every transaction, doing manual form entry, copying data, typing it into your forms, making sure that all of your CRM and all of your other tools are updated, you end up spending, 15 to 20 hours a year just copying and pasting data, which isn't what your clients are paying you for. Your clients are paying you to have their best interest at heart, to represent them, to be personal, to help them through one of the most stressful and most financially intense times in their life. And if you're spending 2 days a year, 3 days a year, doing nothing but copying and pasting data, you're not better, doing the best that you can to serve your clients. And for that matter, going home and at a reasonable hour and taking care of home life and being rested and being clear, that is the most, the most important thing that you can do as you serve people. For those of you with TCs, all of this, can be done by your TC. It helps to streamline everyone's job. You can go in and check, look at your own dashboard, understand where everything's at. It makes it makes understanding your business a lot better. In addition, this is specifically for the broker in charges. Let's kind of talk about some of that compliance. And this conversation is not just about agents, it's about liability. As you should be aware, under the Rule 58A 110, there are 10 mandatory duties as a broker in charge. The 3 that are directly relevant is that you have to supervise all the brokers under your oversight on agency agreements and disclosures, which we have a full documentation built in where all of our working with real estate agents is, published right there on the site. You have access to it. Everyone knows it's there and done. All of your agency agreements are pre-filled, pre-populated, send them straight over for signatures. The broker in charge can directly view that work for all of their clients. You have to maintain all transaction records for 3 years. And all of our documents live within every opportunity, directly linked to that guest or that client. In addition, you can just directly download all of your documents if you want to store them offsite as well. We don't hold on to any of that. And then in addition, we've got all of the written buyer agreements, which are getting added to the compliance burden. And the span of control work group is actively reviewing responsibilities through 2026. There are some proposed amendments that would add expected duties around consumer data protection and encryption as well. And this is real liability with real consequences. We're, trying to frame that ownership from both sides. As a broker in charge who's rolling this out to a group of their clients, your agents get professional infrastructure, their own branded site, a full CRM, technology that travels, a brand that travels. It's not a recruitment tool. You can offer agents something that a lot of these brokerages with piecemeal technology stacks can't, and that's workflows and brands that they're actually able to build a business on. Yeah. And this last is kind of proving your value. Not going to spend a lot of time on the NAR settlement. We've heard enough about it. I do want to address the reality that it created, and it connects directly to everything we've been talking about. Since August of 2024, every buyer agent needs a written agreement before the first showing, and you have to articulate and justify, kind of your value in every relationship in writing. And the research says that 47% of buyers cite an agent's technology skills as very important in choosing who to work with. 82% of clients respond positively when agents integrate technology into the relationship. And 3 out of 4 agents didn't close a single transaction in 2024. The agents who survive in this environment can walk into a buyer conversation and demonstrate competence, not talk about it, show it. Here's my site. Here's the market intelligence platform I use to find properties that suit your criteria. Here's how I manage transactions from offer to close. These are the kinds of things that get you value straight out of the gate. If you're able to walk into that client journey before you've ever done anything and say, I'm actively investing in my business, I'm building cohesive platforms, I'm building intelligence portals that allow you, the client, to have a full breadth of understanding about what's going on. That helps to build rapport prior to ever having to get that document signed, prior to your first showing with that client ever. And it's not a pitch, there's proof. When you own that branding and you own that domain and it's connected to your CRM, it creates a cohesive, branded, uniform environment that your clients can go into and know that you are the source of truth and help build that trust relationship over time. It continues to compound with every client interaction, every market report, and every automated follow-up. It builds your brand as your business asset. Yeah, lead with value, lead with technology, and show that this is, show that you're investing it and how you prove it. Really, the biggest takeaways from this are going to be 3 things you can do this week. These will take less than an hour total, and they'll tell you more about your business position than anything else. Do an audit on your technology stack. Pull out your credit card statement and list all of the tools you're paying for. Count all of the logins, add up the monthly costs, and say, which one of these is bringing value to my client experience? Is my client seeing the best value possible by me saying, here, for this thing, go here. Here, for this thing, download this other app. By the way, utilize your own resources as a source of truth in your search. Or do you really think you're better off sending them one thing that's branded in your name and saying, come here for your search. Come here for your dashboard so you know what's happening to all of your saved searches and properties. Help me build value by helping you find properties that you otherwise might not. Let us both discover those search opportunities on both sides of the equation. And really, if you're a BIC, do this across your entire brokerage and start to analyze which tools are coming with you, which ones are staying behind. And is there redundancy that you can consolidate? The second and biggest takeaway, go register your domain, register your brand with, any registrar there is. GoDaddy is the one that we use today in today's session. And even if you don't connect it to anything, even if you keep it parked for the next 6 months, it's yours. It's the cheapest insurance policy against platform dependency. It's your professional identity in a digital world. The NAR has some .realtor, and .real estate domains as well. Any of that. Know that you can tie that into a cohesive client experience at any time. And really kind of just check your data portability. If you go in and log into all the different tools that you found, try and understand how well they talk to each other. What does it look like to actually get information out of each and every tool and get them to talk to each other? And if you're sitting there going, I don't know, it's probably the answer that you're looking for. The next steps is really if anything that we discussed today resonated with you, look at your tech stack and thought, I'm spending too much, or I don't know if, what my client journey looks like. We'd love to continue the conversation. We're not going to try and sell you today. What we do want to say is, if you want the infrastructure that you act on, let's have a conversation. If you want the infrastructure we showed you today, let's have a conversation. Julie McKinley on our team, she's here on the call as well. She'll handle all those walkthroughs, show you what we demonstrated today, be able to tailor it to your market, your specialty, and your workflow. Her email's on the screen, and the booking link is there. And everyone on the call gets a free trial, so feel free to jump on that. We also have several offers and other bonuses. Julia will be happy to talk to you about those. We don't take any commissions. We're just straight up subscription fee. We are just the operating system for your business. We're not there for any of your other data or branding, etc. You'll also get a resource pack after the session. It'll be a technology audit. And then just let's open it up to questions and let's hear what's on everybody's mind. I'm going to stop sharing my screen real quick. And then I can kind of show you guys some of the analytics just in the background while we take in some questions. Cool. So while I'm getting this pulled up, current domain into the system. We'd absolutely be able to help you through that. As far as transferring your domain, we can absolutely help you do that. Julia has been through this. I'm happy to sit down with you. It would require you to be on with your domain provider at that time. Yeah, it would require you to be on with your domain provider, and then we can walk you through exactly how to do it. As you guys saw today, once that data populates, it's a really quick and easy exercise to actually get through it. There's a few caveats to pay attention to, some of those being the copying, pasting, making sure you don't have any spaces or anything else in there. A few of those edits can be a little bit tricky, but we're happy to walk you through that. Cool. And let's see if we have anything else coming in, and I'll pull up. Some of this. All right. Okay. So what does the data migration process look like? Really, if you're just looking at the from another CRM, it's going to be download into an Excel or CSV. From there, you can just upload your CRM via that bulk upload that we have, and it'll be really straightforward. And I'll go ahead and get my screen pulled up here. And this is going to be a fun thing for you guys to see. There's not a lot of people who have seen this. Can I get somewhere in the chat or in a Q&A, can someone just post the market that they currently work in? And I'm just going to pull some market analysis there, if anybody doesn't mind sharing. So this is a tool that we have built in. This is just for agents. Your clients have a separate interface. All right, let me get this out of my way. Sorry, guys, I've got a header block in my bottom bar. Sorry about that. There we go. Cool. And all right, so Northridge. This is going to be a fun one. Show me a price per square foot breakdown of homes sold within the past 12 months in Northridge subdivision in 1,000 square foot increments. And this is a complex search. For those of you who work in North Raleigh or know Northridge, you would just be able to say, okay, cool, roughly based on the size and square foot of this house, I'm going to predict from some of our previous history, what you typically see is on the smaller side of things, you have a higher cost per square foot because land costs, infrastructure costs, etc. And then it kind of tapers down through the middle of the market. And then typically at the large end, at the larger side, you see an uptick because people building larger homes sometimes have nicer finishes, features, amenities. Okay, cool. We got another question in while I was doing this. How long does implementation take? Yeah, so you guys just witnessed that today. Julia has a customized site up and branded in her name. So like in less time than it took to sit on the seminar, you have a completely custom branded site, able to send out email campaigns, do everything. And that's specifically because it's integrated already with Doorify. We're able to import all your previous work history. Yeah, it's super straightforward. And oh, this is from my BIC presentation earlier. Yeah, broker in charge can actually see what their agents are doing from a dashboard. Once this populates, actually, while that's running, I can just show you real quick. So like here in your main dashboard, oh, this one doesn't have, I don't have.
I have mine up, Michael, if you want me to show mine.
Yeah, do you mind showing yours and I'll go back to the, yeah. Let's actually just give this a chance to populate and see. Okay, there we go. Let me cover this real quick and then you can, so like this is price breakdown per square foot. So there's only one thing that sold, one sale. And then here you can start to see pricing in the past 12 months for Northridge subdivision. See what that is, price per square foot. start to visualize that data. And there we go. Julia, you wanna share yours?
Sure. Yeah, so this is my more developed site, I guess, just to give you some reference of what we were looking at earlier. And this is the broker dashboard. You can see agents. This is obviously Michael's my best agent here.
Thank you, Julia.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, we can look at activity, what they're working on, what stage they are in their different deals, how many bids, how many listings, etc. Anything else, Michael, you want me to show here?
No, I think that's about it. Yeah, that should be good.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, if there's any more other questions, I don't see any more coming in on the chat. Yeah. So, if you guys have anything else, please reach out to Julia and I. We're happy to, answer any questions. And we'll go from there. If you guys have any questions about tools or features available, we're happy to talk you through that as well. And thank you very much for taking taking an early lunch to join us here. And look forward to seeing all of you on the platform. Thank you all very much. Thank you all. Bye.